Hey guys. Hi guys, it's Michael. And I'm here tonight to do a quick Q&A with my subs and just to talk about their pets. So, hey Nicholas, how are you tonight? This is the Birds and Bees Talks. Yeah, let's talk about pets tonight. That's what we're doing tonight. I started a while back the Pet's Journey, and this is all about your pet's health and their journey. And on my channel, The Pet's Journey, you can see different interviews with different professionals across and around the world talking just about pets' health and their journey. And where this came about was probably, I want to say, about 10 years ago. I was doing this event. I volunteered my time for pet rescues. In fact, I'm going to see if I can pull it up right now. What is it? Let's see if I can find it here. I'm looking for it right now online. Okay, so I did this. So I started volunteering for pet rescues. And I started hearing all these different pet owners during the events, because what I would do is I'd help them with their events. I would design their event for them and I'd show them how to pull permits and do all these different things for them. And I started to hear a common thing with everybody, a lot of the pet owners. And what it was is I kept hearing about how they would take their pet to the vet. And we need vets. I always talk about this too. We always need a team. So if you have a dog or a cat, you need a team. You need pets supporters throughout the neighborhood, throughout your community. If you have a dog and you work, it's great to have somebody that can actually come and walk your dog. We need a vet. We need a trainer. If you get a new dog, a new puppy, you definitely need to train your puppy, because I see, and I've been told by so many of my trainers that I've had on my show about how a lot of people will go out and get a puppy and they don't train him properly in the very, very beginning. And it's so, so important that you do, because when you do, you start to develop their sense of their world. And if you don't do that, then they're going to create their own world. And it's probably likely not going to be a world that you like, and that goes all the way down to potty training, to begging, to sitting at the dining room table, waiting for scraps to fall. All these can be managed, and all of these can be maintained by just training them. And it's just, you don't have to it's not like you can even train them by watching YouTube videos. You can actually find your favorite trainer on YouTube, and you can actually learn how to train your own pet. One of my shows on my YouTube channel, The Pet's Journey, we talk about, are you walking your dog, or your dog walking you? And that's a common thing that we see all the time. When you're walking around and you see people walking their dog, and sometimes they're like, the dog's way ahead of them and pulling them. Well, the dog's walking them. Now, if you're walking your dog is right next to you and just behaving just watching you and going at the same speed you are. And that's where you're walking your dog. But a lot of times we see a lot of time dogs walk their parents. So all these personality traits can be curbed by just doing a bit of training. And in the very beginning, it's so important to do training with your dog, especially for crate training and all that. Cats are a lot easier. Cats are just, they have their own personality. They kind of hang with you. They do their thing. There's not much to cats. The only thing, cats, you just, keep their litter box clean. And it's really important too. People sometimes, go a little too over, cleaning their, they don't clean their litter box enough. And that's where cats can actually get UTIs. And that's a urinary infection. And it's common in cats. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that their litter box is dirty. And when they're using it, it has a tendency sometimes to splash up. And if it's just really dirty, they're splashing up bacteria, and then that's usually a cause of UTIs with cats. But anyways, I'm just going to keep it really basic tonight. And if you guys in the comments have any questions or any thoughts, feel free to ask. I'm here to answer anything. A lot of people have been asking me on my channel, hey, Michael, when can you talk about pets? When can you go in? We want to hear more. And a lot of you have visited my website, Healthy Paws Herbal Labs. And it's all the magic that came from me volunteering for pets, rescues. So I just want to say hello to Nicholas and Hanta. I don't know if I'm going to spell that. Let's say that right. And then Renee. Yeah, I love that OCD, cleaning the litter box twice a day. I actually bought one of those ones that actually cleaned itself. But you still had to clean it, often, because that little basket gets dirty quickly. But it's nice, I mean, like when we go to the restroom, we would like to walk into a clean bathroom, right? So does your cat. Anyway, so let's start at the beginning here. I'm looking for these pictures so I could show you some images of this event that I did years ago in Malibu. And it kind of kicked me off to start looking for something different for pets out there. And what I did is, after hearing multiple pet parents during this event, they say they take their dog it was a dog event. So we were talking about dogs, and they would tell me that they would take their dogs to the vet. And a lot of times what they get at the vet, most of the time, let's say, is Western medicine. And a lot of the Western medicine for pets is a Band-Aid. It's just like us going to the doctor. A lot of times when we go to the doctor for cold or for allergies or for some pain or anything that we go for, they're always going to give us something that's going to ease that and mask it and kind of like disguise it, rather than actually get to the cause of it. And so people, I've talked to so many people about this, and it just seemed to be just an everyday occurrence that every time I talked about pets, I just kept hearing people going, God, I wish there was something out there that would be better for my dog or my cat. And so I actually started doing some research, because it wasn't just like one comment or two comments. I was getting so many comments about this and so many conversations about this. And I'm like, God, there's got to be something better out there for pets. There's got to be something better for pets. And so I started searching out there. And then I was called by Bravo to be on the Housewives with Lisa Vanderpump and the rest of the ladies in Beverly Hills. And I was designing the event for her when she launched her foundation about the Yulin Festival in China, where they actually 1 week a year they actually eat dogs, and it's kind of horrific to think about it. But she was doing something about it. She started a foundation to go over there and rescue pets. So we'll get into that really quick. I just want to go back to the chat really quick and catch up to the chat real quick and say hi to everybody. Okay, so Ahata. Hi, Ahata. Nice to see you here. Okay, I'm going to have to practice that one, but I love it. It's a great name. And you're in Sonoma, California. And it's 57 and clear there. And then Renee asked me, how many fur babies do I have? I get this question often because I personally don't have any fur babies right now. And it's only because I'm a responsible pet owner. But if you ask me, I have thousands of fur babies because I volunteer for many rescues. I support so many rescues. I'm on the front line all the time with the rescues, helping them with their health and their well being and getting them to find their forever homes. And that's so important to me. So, currently right now that's where I get my love from my pets is from my rescues and my friends and family, and mostly my friends with their pets when they are going out of town. I'm the number one babysitter. I love to babysit pets. So they know that they're in great hands. They're going to be taken care of well and all that. So I just, that's where I get my personal overnight snuggles with pets. In fact, there was one recently that his name was Bert, and I just fell in love with him. And he was just a sweetheart. And I was like, I want to actually like take him home. And I told the parents that I'm like, I don't think you need to come home yet. They're like, no, we miss Bert. So let's say, hey, Lori, Auntie John, hi, Jen, Cashier Cat. Wow. Welcome, you guys. So I just wanted, people kept asking me about my company, Healthy Paws, Surgeon, my company. And a lot of people always ask about like this right here. That's Robertson. So all the characters on our packaging is designed to, and we put their names as street names here in Los Angeles. So we have Robertson, we have Beverly, we have Pico. And so we have a whole family of pets that we just, we we have Malibu. We have Melrose for that. He's a little, I just saw Malibu out there because I'm searching for this site right now. Getty images. Let's see. Okay, let's see here if we got it here. Let's see. I think I got it right here. Did I get it? Yep. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share the screen right here because this is where it all started. And I wanted people like have asked me, how did you start to get involved with pets? Because I'm a designer here in Los Angeles and I do homes and restaurants and businesses and events and weddings. And so I just started volunteering for pet rescues. And all of a sudden, when I did it, I designed the whole rescue, the event, and you'll see the design right here. You'll love it. Wait, let's get there. Let's go ahead and let's go here. Let's go ahead and share. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen now. Let's go here. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is actually, you can actually look this up too on Getty Images, and you can see it. It's called Paws for the Planet, and it was in Malibu. And let's go ahead and click on this first one here. And so, yeah, look at the price of these pictures. It's kind of crazy. I'm like, oh my God. But this one here, this is Tori Spelling. This is Aaron Spelling's daughter. Let's see. Can you see it? That's the first one there. It's not really shown very well. Here, let me see if I can enlarge it there. There we go. Okay. So the first one we're looking at here, this is Tori, and then you see in the background, you see the little drapes. This was actually our dog and cat walk, where people were actually taking their dogs on doing a fashion show with them. And then you've got some more celebrities here. You've got, let me see over here if I can do here. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Here you can see this picture right here. This is actually where you see the fashion show. And then here's the fashion show as well. This is one of the little characters I had there. He was a juggler and just, he was great to have. And then there's our little dogs. There's a view of Malibu Beach right there. Some dancers right here. This is a piece that I built for the event. The whole thing was designed after a clothing store here for pets called Fifi and Romeo. And that's how I actually got contacted. It was like one of my old assistants went to work for her, and I actually got a call from her, and she said, Michael, she goes, I'm working for this company called Fifi and Romeo, and they're doing this event, in Malibu for this rescue, and they don't know exactly where to put everything or how to do everything and how to connect all the things. And so I oh no, I don't have a video of this. This was probably like 10, 15 years ago when I did this. And back then cell phones weren't just as like crazy as they are now, and they weren't that perfected and all that. So I really don't have the video of this, but it was really fantastic. So anyway, so my one of my assistants that used to work for me, she called me up and she said, "Michael, there's this girl that I've been working with freelancing, and her name's Yana, and she has this store called Fifi and Romeo, and you guys will love this story. This is such a cool story." And so I think I'm going to try to like every few minutes just kind of look at the chat just so I don't miss anybody's chat and just check everything. And Auntie Jan, I'm so excited that you know, you're BC of the fur savers. I love and adore. And then we've got Nicole. Hi, Nicole. And then okay, let's go back there. Ahanata. Okay, my favorite time of the day is the first thing when I wake up, when the dog cuddles my left, and one cat snuggles my right, and the other cat's on my chest. Yeah, animals are truly so special because they're so centered and they're in alignment. And I've talked about alignment before. That's what's really beautiful. Like little kids are in alignment when they're born and they just kind of run around all the time. And as they grow, unfortunately, with interpretations of life they get pulled out of alignment, and then they get back in alignment and they do this. But pets, you see all the time, even if they do something wrong and you get mad at them, especially dogs, if you're like, let's say they, went to the restroom on your floor, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my God, Travis, what are you doing? I told you not to do this." And you've trained them and you're like going, "Oh my God." And so they'll look at you for a second and get, they feel your energy and they're like, "Ah." But to give them a few seconds later, they're like, "Oh, okay." And they're back in alignment. And that's what I just love about pets. So going on to the future of this, of Pause for the Planet, I got a call and she goes, "Can you meet them tomorrow at this conference room and have a discussion with them and see if you want to do this job with them?" And so I said, "Sure." So I met them and it was just a perfect match for me and for them. And it was really, really cute because this picture right here is really endearing right here. This one right here, this picture right here is actually when I went into the conference room had like 30 people around the conference table. And they had me sat right by the door as you entered in. So I sat down and I looked up, and at the other end of the conference table was this this person right here sitting. And it was so beautiful because I knew this person years and years ago. I worked with her parents in Missouri, and her mom and dad are her mom was actually one of the niece of Sam Walton's of Walmart. And so I started working with them, and she was just a little girl. So I hadn't seen her for years. And all of a sudden I looked up and I saw her and I'm like, "Whitney?" And she looked at me. She's like, "Michael?" I'm like, "Whitney?" And it was like so cute because we both stood up and we started running towards each other, and we were just like in shock that we saw each other. We're just like, we couldn't believe, because it had been so long since I had seen her, since I had lived in Missouri for a little bit and designing. And so one of my clients was Ann and Stan Kroenke, and then the other one was Nancy Laurie, and they're both nieces of Sam Walton. And so it was really a really wonderful time working with them. And then I ended up working with another one when I got back here to Los Angeles. That was actually the builder that was really fun to work with. And they lived on this enormous, ridiculously huge property here in Beverly Hills. But it was like one of my favorite clients that I've worked with in my lifetime, because we just, they didn't have a budget for anything. They were just like endless budget. And I've done a lot of things with them. In fact, you probably have looked at my community tab and saw my art piece called The Circle of Life, or Universal Life. I call them both. And so, and I'm going to do a whole live on that because it really respects a full live on it, so that you guys can actually see how and why I designed it and the whole story behind it. It's so lovely. And so anyway, so I saw Whitney and Elsie. She's like, "Oh my God, this is incredible. I haven't seen you in so long. I'm so happy that we reconnected." I mean, it was just kind of like I talk about the universe all the time, bringing people together and just, bringing you into situations that you really like to do and you look for. And it's like I've been really lucky in my life that I've always had that. So I did a walkthrough on her parents' property. It was in Malibu. It was actually Julie Andrews' old house, which was kind of fun. And so that was, I mean, I really enjoyed that. I mean, it was like the house was absolutely beautiful. It had three layers to the property. It had the beach layer, and then it had the residence, and then it had the office and gym at the very top. And at the very top is where we had the fashion show. And even like this picture right here is like super cool because this one right here, this was just their patio, and this area right here was all all open, and you could see the ocean through here. But what I did is I actually created private VIP rooms for our guests that were celebrities, that they can actually go in there and have conversations and meet with their friends. And it was really, it turned out really beautiful. And so this is, one of Fifi and Romeo's mannequins. And this is Yana right here in this picture right here. That's Yana, and she's the designer. And who she is the one who designed, and a lot of you might have seen it, is the movie Legally Blonde with Reese. And so she's the one who designed Reese's clothes, the dog's clothes, and the dog little carrier for the show. And from there, she got so much attention from it that she opened up a store called Fifi and Romeo and actually started designing all the clothes for these pets, the dogs, cats, mostly dogs, and then the carriers. And then she would also design clothes for the family. So you can actually see it right here. And this one right here, if you take a look really close, you can see the dog carrier's got the same fabric as the dress as the dog is wearing, and the bag. And so she was famous for it here in Los Angeles. And so it's Fifi and Romeo. And it was so fun to work with her because when she got to see, what I did with her, because all these colors, all the polka dots, everything that you see here, the teal drapes, they were all inspired by her store. So I kept the whole theme together because she was a sponsor for the event. So here you can see some more pictures here. And so these are all like celebrities. And there's Whitney again. And then this here is another really cool picture that you can see there. I have balloons floating above the pool and some lights. So anyway, so I really enjoyed doing this event. And so from there, I started going back to where we started. Is I started talking to the parents, and they were just saying, "God, I wish there was something healthy out there. I wish there was something organic." And it just kind of put feather in my cap. I was like, "Oh God, there's got to be something different." And then Bravo called me, and I did the Housewives with Lisa and all them, like I said. And when I was there, I started hearing them as well, and they sorry, I just got distracted. I was looking at the comments. So you sound like you love LA. Where else would you consider living? Well, Renee, actually, I've lived all over the place. I've lived in Denver, and that was beautiful. It was nice to get out of California and go to Denver because of the weather. Where it's like we're so used to like tempered weather here, where it's pretty much the same weather all year round. And growing up here, I'm just like, with the way my mind thinks, I'm so creative. It's like I was like, okay, I've seen LA for so long. I'm a little, I want some adventure. So then I ended up going to Denver for a while. And then from Denver, from Denver, I went to Chicago. And that's a whole nother story. Like, once again, my life just has been just really fun and just bringing me to places that I never thought I'd go. And I started working with this software company, and I started designing their website for them that they were doing, and their software for designers. And so I ended up becoming the national spokesperson for that company. And I used to travel all around the United States teaching designers how to actually do business on the computer and make their life a lot easier by doing business on the computer versus um, doing it all manually, because designers will end up, they were doing everything manually. And this is back in the 80s when I was doing this. So I ended up being a national spokesperson for this company, and I used to travel all around and sell the software and get designers and train them. And it was really, it really kind of gave me a, an opportunity to see the whole United States, and actually go into each city for maybe like 6 days and then move to the next city and next city and next city. And so from there, I kind of found that I would like being in Chicago because it was kind of in the middle of the United States, and I was able to fly to New York or to the West Coast really easy to do these seminars and talk to designers. So I ended up in Chicago for a while. And then when I was in Chicago, you guys, if you've looked at the story Meet Magic, you hear me talk about, who Magic is, and Magic's my mom. And she she ended up having lung cancer and passing away. But so it brought me back to LA. So I was back in LA, and I got, I've been back in LA for a while, but outside of that, then I ended up moving to, this is like one of my favorite places in the world, is Florence, Italy. And it was absolutely beautiful. And so when you ask me, LA, I like LA, where else would I consider moving? These are all different places I've lived. New York, I've lived in New York. But my favorite place that I've lived so far is Florence, Italy. And I could definitely see myself going back to Tuscany one day and living, there. It's just it really changed my whole perspective on life and how people live their life, because there they it's just a whole different way of living than in the United States, or especially here in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, you're running and running and running all the time. And I'm running and running all the time right now. It's just like I don't stop. So I just adore the lifestyle and just the whole, just this the way they live. They don't live to work, they work to live. And it's just super special. So anyway, so getting back to Bravo and doing Lisa Vanderpump, I started hearing the exact same thing from those pet parents about their pets. They take them to the vet and they just get it's just a band-aid. It's really the shots that they get for allergies. It just reduces the symptoms. It hides the symptoms. It slows down. It's kind of like taking a Benadryl. It's basically like taking a Benadryl for their allergies. And so I just kept thinking about pets, and I'm like, there's got to be something better out there. There's got to be something better out there. And this was like during the time, probably like it was about 5 years ago, where Serge and I went on a manhunt to look for a product that would be better and just kind of like see what we can do with it and bring it to our rescues with all the rescues we were working with. And all of a sudden, we looked, we ended up looking at all the different CBD stuff out there. And CBD is really good for you, for me, for pets. But the thing is like these CBD products, they only really target one, they don't even target. They're just kind of like this broad, you know, I don't know, solution for many, they say for many, many things, but it's not targeted for anything. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it helps with anxiety, it helps with this, it helps with pain. So there it helps with everything, but it's not targeted for any of those things. And so I kind of backed off from that. We kind of like said, no, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for something really special, something different. And that something different wasn't out there when we were looking until Lisa Vanderpump. She has this, it's called Dog Days in West Hollywood once a year, and it's in a park. And there's a bunch of vendors that are there selling their goods and just bringing wellness, and not wellness, just everything to pets, leashes, collars, clothes, everything that you can imagine for pets. And there was this one guy there. His name was Dr. Kyle. And we walked up, and he had three little brown boxes. And these little brown boxes, one said um, calming, one said pain, and one said allergy. And I'm like, what is this? We haven't seen this before. We had not seen it anywhere yet. And so I walked up to him and I said, Serge and I walked up to him and we're like, hey, what is this? And he goes, I'm a Chinese herbologist and an acupuncturist, and I do healing with Chinese herbs. And that's what these are. And I'm like, he goes, yeah, it's Chinese medicine for pets. And I'm like, does it work? And he's like, it's kind of crazy how it works actually. And I'm like, well, how did you discover to do this? And he said, well, I went to visit my brother in Las Vegas, and his dog Zoe had was scratching. She had allergies, and she had hot spots. And hot spots is where they scratch so much that they actually scratch away the hair and the skin's there, and those are called hot spots. And if you have a dog that has major allergies, it's likely that you'll see little hot spots around there. Their belly's really red, their armpits are really red, and they're just kind of rashy and all that. And then if it goes unchecked, it turns into fungus. So it turns into a yeast infection. So anyway, so he said that he went to this to see his brother, and all of a sudden he looked over and he saw his brother's dog, and he was like, "Wow, what's going on with Zoe?" And he goes, "She's got so many allergies that we've been dealing with this with the vet for a couple of years now, and they've given her the steroid shots, they've given her creams, they've given her all these different things, and nothing's working for her. And her body was, maybe built up the immunity to those treatments." And he goes, "Well, let me go back to LA and let me formulate a couple of formulas for you." And he did. And he sent it to his brother. And all of a sudden, a week later, his brother calls him and says, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. Zoe stopped scratching. I haven't seen her not scratch in a few years." He goes, "This is amazing." And then a couple more years went by, and all of a sudden, a couple more weeks went by, and all of a sudden, his brother calls him back up and he goes, "Kyle, her hair's starting to grow back in her hot spots." And that was the birth of the formulas. And so he continued to say that, and he went back to his office here in Los Angeles, and he was telling all his clients this. And one of his clients goes, "Oh my God, my dog has, is so anxious and has all this anxiety. Can you make something for my dog?" And he goes, "Well, let me try it. Let me make something for calming." And that's where he came up with the calming formula. And the client came back a couple weeks later and says, "I can't believe this stuff. It actually works. She's calm. I don't have to give her." Because, like, if you go to the vet and you tell the vet that my dog is nervous or anxiety, has a lot of anxiety, they will give them like they'll give them like almost like a Valium. And so it's a drug or a trazodone or some sort of Western medicine that will take care of the anxiety. But what it also does, it kind of takes away their motor skills and it kind of knocks them out. And so, and the magic behind the Chinese herbs is it has no narcotics or any drugs in it. So it doesn't knock them out. And it actually targets those specific areas inside the body, and it works from the inside out. So Serge and I looked at each other and we were just kind of going, "Hey, Serge, I see you there, baby." Anyway, so Serge and I looked at each other and we're like, "Oh, wow. And we're like, and we look at him, we're like, "Does it work?" He goes, "It's crazy how it works." He goes, "I know who you guys are." He goes, "You work with a lot of rescues." He gave us a box of it and we gave it to our rescues, and our rescues turned around and called us and they were telling us, "Oh my God, we can't believe how this works." And I'm like, wow. And Serge and I kind of like just started getting that feeling like we think we found it. And so we went back to Kyle and we're like, "Well, how can we work together? What can we do?" And there's a term inside product industry called white labeling. And that's where you can actually buy a product and put your own label on it and call it your product. And many products out there are white labeled. When you go to the grocery store and you see so many like different olive oils, that olive oil may be coming from the same manufacturer, but it it's white labeled by many companies. So it could be called so many different things, but it's really the same oil. So I'm like, "Well, would you want us to white label it? We'll just put our brand on it and we'll, design it and all that." And he's like, "No, no, no, no." He goes, "I would love for you guys to become my partner." He goes, "I know who you guys are." And he goes, "You guys do fantastic work with the rescues. Why don't we work together?" And so we created a company, and that company is called Healthy Paws Herbal Labs. And I'm going to go ahead and type that right now in the chat so that you guys have it. Okay, so that's the website there. And I'll actually pull it up right here because you guys will see it here. Let's go. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so here Here's our company. It's called Healthy Paws Herbal Labs, and it's the next generation of pet wellness. And so what we ended up doing without realizing it is we didn't just add a product to the pet industry. We actually created a new niche inside of the pet wellness industry. And this here, let me go here. So this here, so here you can see the products. And this one right here is called Yucky Fungus. And this is for your pet if they have fungus. And a lot of pets that have allergies will have fungus. And that's if you guys have a dog and you sniff their ears and it smells kind of like corn chip, that's likely yeast. And yeast is kind of like, I always kind of describe it for us humans. I'm like, it's kind of like a nail fungus. It's really hard to get rid of and it hangs out forever. And it just is so tough for pets. So that's Yucky Fungus. And before I jump to the other one, I'm going to go back to the notes to the comments real quick. Would you know why hey, see, let me put my glasses on so I can see here, right? Okay. My dog has gray hair showing up. He isn't stressed. I take him out to play and walks. He's also gets plenty of food and treats throughout the day. And he's only 1 year and a couple of months old. Well, I'll say this. I know for me, people see my hair and I've been silver. My hair started going gray when I was probably like in my late 20s. And so you got to remember, dogs are 7 years to our 1 year. So if he's a year old, he's 7 years old. So, it could just be his breed. I don't think it has anything to do with any health issues at this point. But one of the nice things you can do too is if you have any, for everybody here, if you have any questions about your dog on our website, we'll come down here. You can actually come down here and you can make a free consultation appointment with Dr. Kyle. And once again, that's on our website. So anyway, so I turned around and we redesigned everything. And we created new packaging, the characters. And so that's what you see here today. And now we're in pet stores all across the United States. And once again, we added to the wellness area, but there was never a product like us before. And it's so beautiful because it's the same thing that in China is what they've been using for years and for centuries. They've been using this technology of herbs for centuries on themselves and their pets. And it's just amazing. So, so what Dr. Kyle stumbled on it wasn't that it was something new. It's just that no one ever thought about doing it for pets before. And he just did it only out of the love of his brother's dog and created the Itchy Scratch. It wasn't called Itchy Scratchy. Serge and I really worked on the names, and Serge is really good with names and all that. So like this one here is called Yucky Fungus. This one here is just called Eat. This one's called Ouchie for pain. We've got Can't Poo Poo for constipation. We've got No More Drama for anxiety. And I just saw someone say that my dog barks and cries when I go out of the room and I can't leave the rooms. Well, it sounds like that. Jerome, your dog has probably separation anxiety. How old is your dog? Is your dog like 4 years old, 5 years old, 3 years old? Let me know about that, because what we found is like during the pandemic, a lot of people ran out and they got dogs and they were with them 24/7. They were right beside them. They were, the pet owners were home all the time. And yeah, she's 8 years old. Okay. So, and do you stay with her all the time? Are you at home with her all the time, Jerome? I'll jump to Janet real quick. Hi, Janet, jumping in. Do you know if you can ship these products internationally? I live in Canada. We've had people order from Canada before. And, so we've been successful shipping there. I've shipped them to London before. So we've had different countries actually, people from different countries actually order the product. So um, yeah, so I don't think for it's just herbs. And so anyway, so Serge is over here, my producer here, giving me notes here. Like it's like, ah. Anyway, so this is our product line right here. It's called Healthy Paws Herbal Healthy Paws Herbal Labs, and it's Serge is distracting me, you guys. Healthy Paws Herbal Labs, and it's all Eastern medicine for pets. So check it out. If you have anything that's going on with your pet, and you've taken them to the vet and it's not working, or you find yourself just, it just reoccurs really quick, check, I recommend take a look at Healthy Paws, because it's definitely, we get so many comments from so many pet owners all the time saying, oh my God, I can't believe you changed my pet's life and you've changed our life. So, yeah, Jerome, you're home all the time. So definitely your little guy or girl is next to you all the time. And so when you leave, he's got separation anxiety. And that's, in fact, this one right here on the screen right here, the anxiety one right here is called No More Drama. And this is something that you could give him every day. If you want to, you can give it to him in the morning, you can give him his dosage, and then later in the afternoon, if it's really, and one of the things that we find with the formulas too, like with No More Drama, is like, by giving it to them, they start to understand how to, they get that. It's kind of like retraining them in a sense, is, once they start to become calm and they start to realize what it's like to be calm, they kind of start to dogs mirror experiences. And so they, once they start mirroring experiences, like if you put two dogs together and one's really rowdy and one's not, it's likely that the one that's not is going to actually mirror the rowdy one and start to become a little more rowdy themselves. So when they do it with like the calming, we've seen it in some dogs where they've been so anxious, and then once they get on No More Drama for a while, then they start to realize, oh, this is what it's like to be calm. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they start to mirror that effect in their life, that feeling, and they actually start to become calm with even out the formula. Okay, so Hennessy said, I used to get my dog calming treats they sell at PetSmart because it was absolutely crazy at night and I had a hard time trying to get to sleep, but they would never work. Most likely what you bought was CBD. And that's what I was talking earlier in the conversation, is CBD is great just as an overall thing. Like as we get older, we have cannabinoids in our body and our cannabinoids start to drop. And taking CBD actually helps rebuild those cannabinoids. Same thing with pets. And sometimes those treats will have zero point zero 0.03 THC in it. And it's a THC that will actually knock that craziness or that anxiousness out of them. But then once again, you're drugging them. Our formulas has no drugs, no THC or anything like that. So I would say give our No More Drama a try, and you'll see, you give it to them in probably like 25-30 minutes, you'll see a difference in their anxiety. And it's great for like if they go to the vet and they don't like to go to the vet, if they go to the groomer and they don't like to get groomed. So all those different things that they get anxious about, car rides, um, anything that can cause them anxiety, this seems to be a great way to actually treat that anxiety without drugging them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up here. Mr. Surge is waiting for me, and I'm going to go ahead. You guys always feel free to reach out to me. You know how to get a hold of me by now. If you don't, you can actually reach out through my website or my email, and I'll put my email down here for you right now so that you guys have it. Let's go here. Let's go. Okay, so here's my email. You guys can reach me here. So if you guys have any questions about what's going on with your pet, give me a shout out on my email, and definitely let's take care of your little furry family, because to me this has been just an incredible ride. And like I said, I had no idea I was going to get involved with pets this way. Check out my YouTube channel called The Pets Journey. Okay, I'm streaming there as well right now, but definitely, if you have questions about anything that's going on with your pet, I've got, many interviews with many specialists from around the world. Actually, it was during the pandemic that I started it, and I started it with it was called Clubhouse, and so it was a platform where you actually can talk to people and actually do rooms in there. And so I started doing rooms in Clubhouse, and these are interviews that came out of the rooms. It's not me live, but it's me talking with the professionals and talking about different subjects. So you'll learn a lot and gain a lot of information there as well. Okay, guys, I think that's it for tonight. I'm going to jump. Serge is waiting for me. We're going to head out for a little bit. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for jumping in. This was just kind of my first live for going back on to my other channel as well. So I thought I'd just share this with you guys here as well. Once again, here, let me put in the website once again so you could check it out if you like. So there's the website, so you guys could check that out. And then for and I know this is going to be posted on the my YouTube channels for both of them, but for everybody that's here tonight, for the next 20 days, I'm going to have a discount code on there, and you just put in the word literally, and it will give you a discount if you feel like one of these formulas is going to actually help your pets. And that's it for me for tonight, you guys. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night wherever you are in the United States or around the world. And I will talk to you guys soon. I'm going to be doing more of these lives about pets. I'm going to be probably be bringing on some experts in maybe orthopedics for pets training, and then we'll have conversations there as well. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night, and you guys enjoy your Sunday tomorrow. All right, guys, I'm Michael, and I'm out.